Hey, sixth grade. This is the instructional video on the second assessment worksheet. And what our main goal for this worksheet is to create two designs, a side view and a top view, using exact measurement according to the specifications that we have. Now, we already have a specifications worksheet, so you'll probably need that. You'll need this worksheet here, possibly this video open. You will need a ruler, one of the rulers in our class, but we'll be using the side of the ruler that is the most recognizable to you. And you will need a pencil. I have a pen. I'll be using a marker here today so that you can see the video, because if I use a pencil, you wouldn't be able to see it. That is the only reason that I'm using a marker. So please use a pencil when designing your side view and top view. Now, the way to complete this design that you're going to be making is to follow the steps and to cross off the steps. If you hand me this worksheet and I can see that you haven't crossed off your steps, I'm not going to take the worksheet. So please make sure that when we go through the worksheet, as we're going through this video, that you're following the steps along with me. Now, you can pause the video at any time, do the work that I'm asking you to do, then unpause it to get back to the next step. So we're going to start with the first thing, which is our ruler. When we measure, we never measure with this part of the ruler that's the most familiar to us, up in the air. We always have to do it with it down, touching the paper. And what you'll notice is that this is exactly 12 inches. Now, each one of these squares in the grid, in the graph paper here, is 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch, and it lines up with every 1/4 of an inch along the way. So it's really important that we have an understanding that this is exact measurement, and we are about to create our design the same way. Then what we'll do is, once we have our understanding of this, we're going to go down here to the step guide and specification checklist. And the step 1 says we're drawing our side view. So this is the side view here. And we're going to make sure to check the measurement of our length of our design. So I'm going to use a highlighter here. And the length of design is what we are talking about. Now, on your specifications checklist, you will see that the length is 8 inches to 12 inches. So you can make your car anywhere between 8 inches and 12 inches. Now, I would never design my car at 8 inches because you're going to sand it down. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you're building, you're going to sand this car down. So if you sand down the front of your car and it's 8 inches already, it's going to be shorter than 8 inches and you're going to be out of spec. So try to design with some cushion. And in this case, I'm going to design my car at 9.5 inches, and that's just because it's a preference of mine. I like my car to be at 9.5 inches. And I'm going to do the same measurement at the top view, because remember, the side view and the top view are the same car, so we have to have them be the same measurement. And now I'm just going to kind of shade out the area I'm no longer using. You do not have to shade this area out. You do not have to do this. I'm only doing this for the demonstration that we're doing today in class. Now, I'm done with this. I know that my length is 9.5 inches. It says make sure to check the measurement of your length. I know that that's correct. It's between 8 and 12 inches. And because I'm 100% accurate, I am going to cross that one off completely. Crossing it off means I understand it. Let's say you don't understand it. Let's say you've done it, but you're kind of not sure whether or not you've created this correctly. Then just put a little check mark next to it without crossing it off. And when you hand it in to me, I'll know that you've done it, but you kind of made it a little bit possibly off of measurement, and it's because you were confused. And then we can work together to get you to understand really how to do this. So check mark if you don't get it, cross it off if you 100% get it. Now the next thing here, it says do not draw into the space around the CO2 cartridge hole. That space around the CO2 cartridge hole is this area right in here. And I've already kind of labeled it for you by putting a space in there and then turned it gray, but I'm going to highlight it here for today's demonstration. And what we're going to do is we're only going to do the side view in this video, and then the second video is going to be the top view on the same, the same design that we're doing now. Now, I'm going to design my car here. And if I'm not allowed to cut into my CO2 cartridge hole within that little orange area, I could potentially cut 2 squares off of the bottom if I want to. And I could make this the bottom of my car if I want to. You do not have to do this. You can go right down to the base of this if you want to. But for the side view, I want to cut 2 squares off. By cutting 2 squares off, I still have not cut into that CO2 cartridge hole, so I'm okay there. And that means all of this will be gone. Every bit of this is going to be cut off and thrown in the garbage. So now I can do the shape of my car, and I will make the same shape that I've been doing every year. Now, this shape isn't necessarily streamlined, but I don't want to give answers to what is streamlined and what is not. At this point, you should know what to do. But I'm just drawing a shape and showing you that I have not cut into my CO2 cartridge hole at all. And because I have not cut into my CO2 cartridge hole, and because it is 9.5 inches, I can cross that one off. I have made sure that in this view, I did not go out of spec. Now, my next step, which is step 2, is saying measure and label your axle holes. And in this case, it's saying make sure that the axle height, this is the height, is in spec. So that means I have to measure where I'm putting my axle holes. And according to the specification, I must be anywhere between 1/8 to 3/8 of an inch. So I got to be 1/8 to 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to turn this way so that we can see where I'm measuring. And I need to make sure that I know where 1/8 and 3/8 inches are. So you can have your inch worksheet open to find out where 1/8 of an inch and 3/8 of an inch is. Now, 1/8 of an inch happens to be 2/16. 3/8 of an inch happens to be 6/16. So this is really the measurement. So that means where this height for this axle can go is if this is the bottom of my car, I can go as low as 1/8 of an inch, or I can go as high as 3/8 of an inch. So when I put this down, in this particular area, if I tried, I've got the 0 lined up with the new bottom of my car that I've created. If I try to put an axle hole here, I might be cutting into my CO2 cartridge hole. But I can put one lower than that. I can go as low as 1/16 of an inch. I can even go up to 1/4 of an inch if I want to. I could do that. But in this case, I don't really want this to be the location of my axle hole. You could do this here if you wanted to. You could put one here. Totally fine if you do. I'm actually moving mine up here for a reason that I will get to later down the road. And I'm going to put, I have my 0 lined up. I'm going to put my axle hole right on the 3/8 inch line. So that's where I'm going to put my axle hole. There it is. And that's in spec. 3/8 of an inch. I just checked it on my measurement, 3/8 of an inch. Then I'm going to do the same thing in the front of the car. Lining up my 0 with the bottom of the dragster design that I have. And then I'm going to put my axle hole at 3/8 of an inch here. Now, I do not have to have these both be the same height. I can put this one higher and I could put that one lower, but they just both have to be the distance of 1/8 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch. I cannot go higher than 3/8 of an inch because my wheels won't hit the ground. I can't go lower than 1/8 of an inch because the wheels will pop out the bottom of the car. So I've got to make sure I'm in between 1/8 and 3/8 inches. And when I am done, I will have my side view completed. And I will be in spec. So that means I can also cross off, making sure my axle holes, the height of my axle holes is in spec, and I'm done there. And that is the end of the side view of our video for this design. See you in the next video. Hey, sixth grade. Here we go.